Smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. That way y'all don't miss a single video here at Chat Sports. Tom Downey and I bust our butts. I was going to drop another word, but you know what?
You can swear today.
We're always looking for the latest NFL news and rumors. We got you guys covered, and we're an interactive channel, so make sure you're participating. So go ahead, go hit that big red button that says subscribe. News and rumors presented by Manscaped. For all the guys out there, and maybe for some of the women that are watching, if you need an awesome stocking stuffer, if you're trying to get your box stuffed, go to Manscaped, get hooked up here, 20% off.
That one.
I know. Well, you dropped the joke last week. I don't know if I can steal it. Seriously, though, 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there, manscaped.com/chat. All right, Tom, let's get into basically what everyone's been talking about around the NFL. Jalen Hurts, the new starting quarterback of the Eagles.
Carson Wentz
is benched. Yes, finally it happened. But it had to happen.
They had to make this move. At a certain point, you can't just keep trotting out Carson Wentz and going, this time it'll be different. That's the definition of insanity. Now, I think the play here for Philadelphia is give Hurts at least this game. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
And then you can reevaluate if you want. The problem here is you spent a second-round pick on Jalen Hurts.
See, I think you got to roll with Jalen from here on out. I think no matter what the outcome is,
you're in a really rough
spot.
You're in a really rough spot, and I think ideally, they want Wentz to be the guy.
Sure.
Because they paid him all that money.
Absolutely.
But I mean, they spent the second-round pick on Hurts. They've set themselves up for this bad dilemma. The only decision they had, though, with the way Wentz was playing, they had to bench him.
Yeah,
absolutely had to.
Totally with you. So let us know, do you agree or disagree with the benching of Carson Wentz? If you're like, yeah, man, fully on board with the move, it was time, type A for agree. Or if you're like, no, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, I want you to type D for disagree. I think in the long term, I disagree with it, but for this year, as bad as he's played, I do agree. So since he got benched, Pro Football Talk basically threw out this idea. You sent it to me. Could Wentz go to the Indianapolis Colts in a trade? Because Phillip Rivers' contract's up.
First off, we have
to
properly credit our very smart audience for bringing that up many a time before Wentz got benched.
Okay.
Pro Football Talk, that's why we're bringing it up today, because they put out the article. Florio did. There's a good argument for it, and it mostly comes down to Frank Reich, who was the Eagles' offensive coordinator in 2017, and things fared well with Reich and Wentz, and then that was the best year that Wentz had. The Colts don't have a long-term quarterback, and if we had brought this up, 2 months ago,
it would have been kind of wild.
Like, okay, yeah, maybe this makes some sense if the Eagles want to move on because Hurts is their guy or whatever. But Wentz has played so terribly.
Yeah,
it makes sense for Philadelphia because they can get out of that contract, and they end up only saving about $1 million this year, but so many more savings after that. With the way this deal is structured, the Colts will be paying Wentz about $25 million per year.
I mean, you paid Phillip Rivers this year $25 million,
and has been worse.
I'm not saying he hasn't been worse, but this season, Jacoby Brissett was going to make, I believe it was $22 million. They were okay bringing in Phillip Rivers to be the starter, so having a backup make that much money. No offense to Jacob Eason. I don't see him being the franchise quarterback. I don't see him being the future. And if you're Frank Reich, you're like, you know what? This kid was really good with me. We were so good that we were able to go to the Super Bowl, and this Colts team has been playing well with Phillip Rivers. However, you've seen a lot of ups and downs with Rivers. I mean, in the losses, 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions this year for Rivers. And I mean, this is a complete team. But I am worried about them going forward.
If the Eagles had this level of quarterback play, they'd be leading the NFC East right now.
I'm not even kidding. No, you're right. I'm not going to disagree.
So the problem here with Wentz is that clearly there is a confidence thing going on. And people are like, oh, how are you going to make him the starter when they got a statue of Nick Foles and drafted a quarterback in round 2? My response to that is, I don't know, be a damn adult. Be a professional and be mentally tough and go, yeah, I'm still good. Sure. If that breaks you, then you were never going to succeed in the NFL.
Yeah.
And not only that, and it's kind of, even to I think the untrained eye, the mechanics that Wentz has developed, I mean, they've fallen apart.
Yeah.
His footwork is all
horrible.
over the place. There's a clip out there of Wentz doing something similar to the Dak dance, but it's really ugly. It's not fluid at all. There's just major problems. His technique is bad. He's got this really wide base, and he can't move, and he panics. It's gross.
It honestly reminds me
He's broken.
Do you know how to ice skate?
I
have no idea how to
I
ice
am what
skate.
they call a bender.
It reminds me a lot of if you try to walk on ice in your shoes and you try to throw something, you're slipping around all over the place. That's what Carson Wentz footwork reminds me of. It is not good whatsoever, and that's why he's struggling. So go ahead, prediction time. Look into that crystal ball. You know what, ma'am? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. What does that mean? It means when you come across this bad boy on YouTube, the very, very first comment is going to be, where will Carson Wentz play in 2021? So when you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and let us know. The Eagles, they play the New Orleans Saints this week, and I did want to be able to give an update on quarterback Drew Brees. He's targeting a Week 15 return, still dealing with a ribs injury. He is technically eligible to come back.
The ribs and chest and this entire area injury.
But it doesn't look like he is going to play this week. So, again, you're going to see another Taysom Hill type game. This is big news, I do think, though, for the Saints to try to be able to get Drew Brees back. As good as Taysom Hill's been, you need Brees to get a few more games before the playoffs, because without Brees, I think they're one and done in the playoffs. I really do.
Who says no? This week, Saints-Eagles, it's, of course, Taysom Hill versus Jalen Hurts. The forward pass is outlawed. Who says no? One game only. No. I think that benefits Philadelphia.
Who has more rushing yards, Taysom Hill or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts, because the Eagles will go cowardly offense and not let him air it out at all.
Will either of them have a receiving yard?
No. Philly special will be called, so yes, Jalen Hurts will.
All right, y'all, let us know down there in the comments section, who is the better quarterback? Type T for Taysom Hill. Type J for Jalen Hurts.
I love getting overly specific on predictions.
It's all good. Hey, honestly, though, I think both these guys could probably play tight end. And if you want to make sure that your end is looking tight, maybe you can use the Lawnmower 3.0. I don't know. It works on all over your body. Seriously, on your chest, on your downstairs, Tom. Maybe I've used it down there. Luckily, the blades are rechangeable. Manscaped.com/chat, 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. I love the Lawnmower 3.0. You also get the most comfortable boxers and traveling bag when you get the perfect package. Tom, do you have deodorant on today?
I do.
Okay. It's under your arms, right?
Yes, where deodorant goes.
Do you have any deodorant on your balls today?
I do not.
And why is that?
Because I don't have sweaty balls right now.
You don't have Well, if you got sweaty balls, you guys got to go ahead and use the ball deodorant, which comes in the perfect package. If you use it under your arms, you should use it down there too. Luckily, Manscaped, they hooked us up here. Again, 20% off and free shipping, manscaped.com/chat. That link is in the comments and in the description. Matthew Stafford, let's talk about him. Could he potentially be traded from the Lions? Brett Favre said he doesn't think that it's Stafford's fault that he's struggled. However, it's time for the Lions to move on.
We mentioned the Wentz trade. I think Matthew Stafford is vastly more trade value. Frankly, I know there was an Eagles reporter who was like, the Eagles will get a first easy for Carson Wentz.
That's a joke.
No, they won't. Come on, dude.
Here's my trash.
Play. Yeah, here's my trash. I can get a first-round pick for this trash. I put Febreze on it. It's better now. Stafford, I think, does carry value. And the Lions are in a weird spot. But I do think Brett Favre made a very good point.
Oh, totally agree. So here's the quote from Favre. Matthew has done wonderful things for Detroit, except get to the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. Is that enough to pay him whatever they pay and just go status quo? I'm not saying it's his fault, but why not overload this big price tag and start over, because it's sort of what you're doing year in and year out anyway. He also goes on to say this. Again, I'm not blaming him, but from a business standpoint, that seems to be the better route to take by investing in a young guy and starting over, which I totally agree with Brett Favre. Plus, you already fired your head coach. Why not start somewhere new and let the new head coach draft who they want?
I think a lot of this depends on what route the Lions choose to go. And they're going to have to make this decision fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Especially when they make their hire. Do they go with a younger guy and give him time to develop? Do they go for maybe more of a win-now coach? What is their process there? Where are they drafting? Because if the Lions get a top 10 pick, they might be able to get a Zach Wilson or a Trey Lance. If they win a couple games down the stretch, they might not be in quarterback draft range.
Sure.
And at that point, maybe you're better off trying to win a couple more years with Matthew Stafford. So I think this is something they have to consider as this offseason goes on.
The issue is guys like Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, I'm just going to throw out another name, Kyle Trask, are they better than somebody like Matthew Stafford?
In year one, no. They're not.
I agree.
But you're also remembering you're resetting the quarterback contract in terms of that and how it impacts the salary cap.
Yep.
And Stafford's 32, will be 33 in the very near future. You're getting an extra 10-year potentially out of this new quarterback.
And I believe you're going to have to eat. I believe if you trade him, it's like $13 million. I believe is the number off the top of my head. But you'd have to end up eating that amount of money. But if you're trying to go forward and do it, hey,
it's
so
at that point it's not. It's nowhere near as an issue. Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yes, it is. Good job, Mitch. As a Matt Ryan or a Carson Wentz contract with the way that deal is structured. So I think there would be teams interested.
Oh, absolutely.
If I'm Detroit, honestly, I'm probably asking for a first-round pick in all seriousness.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd get a first-round pick for Stafford, but maybe if you were a team like Chicago and you think, hey, I'm a quarterback away from being somewhere halfway decent, maybe you do it. I mean, they proved that they're not afraid to trade for a quarterback.
It's only about $10 million in dead money if you move him. So that's very manageable. And the new team only has to pay like $20. So there's an opportunity there for these teams in the end.
So Tom and I gave you our 4 teams of some potential trade destinations for Matthew Stafford. If you don't like them, or you know what, maybe you do like them, go down in the comments section and let us know. If the Lions move on from Stafford, which team would trade for him? More quarterback talk here. It's time to break it down around Danny Dimes. What's the latest on him? I guess it's good news. He's expected to play Week 14 against the Cardinals. He's been battling a hamstring injury. I thought Colt McCoy did a phenomenal job last week where he didn't really do anything too bad, but he did just enough to win the game.
He managed that one. They had 17 points. It was all they needed. So good job, Colt McCoy, on that front. Daniel Jones has been
bad, but he's been better.
He's been Daniel Jones.
He's been better of late.
Yeah, he's
hasn't turned it over in the last 3 weeks that he's played.
Had some fumbles, but they got him back. That's what matters.
Yep.
Look, I think that if you're the Giants, you're going to keep playing Daniel Jones. And if you're Daniel Jones, you're like, if I win the NFC East, I guarantee I get to keep my job. Because they're going to be out of quarterback range. And it honestly probably saves Dave Gettleman's job, too.
Yeah.
There's a lot riding on New York to win this
Unbelievable.
division.
But, hey, who's the better quarterback? Producer Sam was like, it's Colt McCoy.
Daniel Jones.
So, you know what? We want to ask the question.
Sam loves Texas.
CM for Colt McCoy or type DJ for Daniel Jones. I am not a believer in Jones whatsoever.
I'm going to keep throwing out Jones, though.
But it's Daniel Jones. But, hey, let us know. Type DJ. I see Scotty, Shanav, and Manny Villegas all watching us live. And as well, they're typing DJ. Anybody play fantasy football? Well, you probably drafted this guy. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he was drafted in every single fantasy football league this year. Christian McCaffrey, what's the latest around him? So he was limited today with a shoulder injury, and apparently, Tom, he tweaked his thigh last week and now is questionable for Week 14.
As a Christian McCaffrey fantasy owner, Mitch, shut him down.
Shut him down.
End it.
He's played in only one game since Week 2. It was in Week 9.
4 games left in the season.
And you're 4-8.
You're not making the postseason. You might be able to get a young quarterback to develop either behind or instead of Teddy Bridgewater. And frankly, play the better back anyway. Mike Davis would be great.
All right, Mike Davis, not better, but he has been productive. He has been productive, and maybe it fits the whole, hey, maybe you shouldn't pay a running back, but your future is Christian McCaffrey.
You have to
rest him.
You have to focus on 2021. He keeps getting banged up. Don't worry about this year. Focus on next year instead.